Soul Fam? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emily. I am Emily the Mystic, and I am so excited for today's video because we are taking a little bit of a break from our regularly scheduled Cosmic Connections content, which don't worry, it's going to be returning in 2023 because this is my last video of 2022. And because of that, I really felt called to share with all of you my takeaways from this year. What are some of the lessons that I learned? What did I really focus on this year? And how did this year change me? I really felt called to do a lot of reflection this year, and I really hope that what I share here in this video perhaps will help you on your own journey. Perhaps you'll see some similarities in what you're going through to what I've been going through. Perhaps what I've been through this year will help you as you move into your year next year. Whatever you get from this, I just really hope that it helps you for your own personal growth journey. I have truly learned so much this year. It's been such an expansive year for me in so many ways, and I'm really excited to share what I have discovered with all of you. And again, don't worry, the Cosmic Connections videos will return in 2023. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what that's going to look like towards the end of the video. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, oh, and by the way, thank you for being here. It has been so cool for me to have started this YouTube channel from scratch and to see it growing steadily, to see a lot of you joining this channel, to hear from me, to hear my message, hear my content, my perspective on things, my channeling. It's just been so fun, and it's so fun to have an audience who is listening. So thank you. Truly from the bottom of my heart, like I am so grateful for you guys. You're amazing. And wherever you are in the world, know that you're always led here for a reason. And so I hope that you perhaps see a parallel in your life to what's been going on for me. And again, that this helps you along your path as well. So let's get into my 2022 reflections. So for me, overall, this year has really been about stabilizing, integrating, and embodying. And I will share a little bit of where I have come from to help to explain why those have sort of been the overall themes for me this year. So whether you're familiar with my story or not, I'm just going to share it really briefly. So at the beginning of 2020, I was intuitively led to start a business of some kind. It actually started out as a health business before the pandemic even hit. And then when we went into the pandemic, I was thrown into what I call a reawakening, where I woke up to my spirituality, my spiritual interests and hobbies. I have been spiritual my whole life. I have a bookshelf full of books at my parents' house in my childhood home that are all on spiritual topics, about psychic gifts, about astrology and numerology and so on and so forth, from when I was 8, 9, and 10 years old. And so spiritual topics and interests have been with me my whole life. So I don't like calling this a spiritual awakening because I've been spiritual literally my whole life, but I really woke back up, reawakened to my spiritual nature in 2020 when the pandemic hit, and I was like, holy shit, like this is part of my life. This is me. I need to remember and get back into this again because it's not just a hobby. It's not just an interest. Like, spirituality is me. I am a soul having a human experience. Like, it's a part of me. And so I went into 2020 with going through that reawakening journey and seeing it parallel and get reflected eventually into my business itself. So that took me into 2021, where I started, and at the time, by the way, in 2020, I was working in a corporate 9-to-5 job with a classic 9-to-5 commuting experience. I live in Philadelphia, and I was driving to New Jersey and also traveling to New York every single week. And then when the pandemic hit, I started working from home. So all of a sudden, I had all of this time to be able to spend on my spiritual interests and so forth. And so in 2021, I decided that I could no longer work in that corporate job anymore. It was not a good fit for me. In fact, I couldn't do the work anymore. My vibration was so different from the original Emily who got that corporate job, that I just literally, my energy couldn't be in that experience anymore. And I had to leave. I knew I had to leave. It was also not serving my boss and my team members because I couldn't do the work anymore. So I had to get out. So I quit my job at the beginning of 2021, and well, not quite at the beginning, but in the spring of 2021. And so 2021 was all about starting a business and becoming a business owner. And in fact, 2021 was an amazing year for me. And the reason why I'm reflecting on this is because it's going to help you understand where I've come into in 2022. 2021 ended up being just this beautiful place of financial growth and success and building an audience and building a community around my work and seeing my gifts really start to get people results and really seeing all of the healing work that I had done for myself be able to help other people, which was really, really cool for me. It was also not easy at the same time. I had family members who had significant health challenges, and I had to do a lot of deep healing and inner work at that time, which was really stressful and really uncomfortable and really emotional in a lot of ways. However, I was feeling so good with where I was at in 2021 that I honestly didn't want the year to end. And what this is leading me to is I did not do any reflection in 2021 because I did not want to start 2022. I was like, I just want to stay on this train. I love where I'm going. I feel good where I'm at. At the time, I was not consciously aware of this, but I was super burnt out. I was doing hours of readings every single day of the week. I had no boundaries with my business, and I was living for the weekends. I was exhausted all of the time. My health was in terrible shape. And at the same time, I was like, let's keep going. Let's keep going. There was a part of me that was deeply afraid of my business imploding or something bad happening or having the other shoe drop and not being able to keep up the momentum of my business. So therefore, I didn't want to come to the fact that that year was ending like any year does, and I didn't want to move into the new. And what ended up happening was I manifested COVID at the beginning of 2022. I was sick literally during the first or second week of January, immediately after the new year. And it really forced me into rest and into recovery. And it made me realize wow, I'm actually really burnt out. I need to do things a different way in my business. And it also made me realize that even if the train stops, even if you do get sick, even if you have to take time off of work or your business, that yes, you may lose a little momentum, but you're going to get right back on track. And the whole business itself isn't going to disappear. Your income isn't going to completely disappear, at least in my case and with what I experienced. So that was where I started 2022 off with, which was really, really interesting. And so that leads me into talking a little bit about this year, and I'm going to get into some of the specific themes a little bit later on, but 2022 for me was all about really grounding into my business owner identity, really embodying what it means to be an entrepreneur, a CEO, a business owner, and getting really comfortable with that. And getting comfortable with making a very consistent income for myself and seeing the clients come in and seeing the money and the financial resources come in. And it's not all about money, right? But money for me has been a big portal of healing in this lifetime. And it's also necessary for me to be able to do this work, to be able to work with and heal the people that I need to help. And it really has been necessary for me to feel safe and secure in doing this work and living my purpose full time. And I've had to really grow into that and embody what that means. I feel like we see a lot on social media, business owners, and here's the thing, this is another lesson that I'll get into, but don't believe everything that you see on social media. A lot of it isn't real. And one of the things that I really try to embody as a business owner is integrity and authenticity in everything that I do. Literally, that is who I am. At the core of my being is being an authentic soul. I really hope I give off that vibe to you. what I've discovered is that people out there on social media who claim that they're these successful business owners who get their clients amazing results, they're really not. They really don't actually have the success. Perhaps they have a lot of financial support coming from other places, or their clients just really aren't getting really good results, or whatever it is. And so with all of that being said, I have really needed to lean into my authenticity and my integrity this year. And what I was trying to say around that was, you often see this like fake picture on social media of people making these enormous sums of income every single month. However, is that really happening? And are they really embodied in that overnight success? Is that overnight success really real? Or is it something that they are talking about in order to generate income, in order to get clients, whatever the thing is? So for me, I've really needed to be on a sustainable, successful growth journey that is incremental. For me, quantum leap, yes, absolutely. However, I also need to be doing things in a way that allows my mind and my body to ground into the success that I am having. So for me, overnight rapid success, great, it is great, but I also need to be able to integrate that and embody that. So this business was created quite quickly compared to what you may see out there on social media. But I have had to really make sure that I am incrementally getting things done and getting to a place where I feel really embodied in the work that I'm doing and in my ability to help my clients get similar results as well. So this year has really been all about with me getting confident in myself and in my abilities and in my identity, again, as a business owner. I also was sort of hoping that this year I would be able to create one or two signature offerings that would stay with me forever, that I could just really grow and bring a lot of clients into. However, I outgrew my signature offerings quickly. I had to let them go very, very quickly. And I'm going to get into kind of why that was in a little bit. But I've also really seen my client base change this year, which has been super interesting. I've seen myself at the beginning of my business working with people who are at the very beginning of their spiritual awakening journey. And if that's you, that's amazing. Congratulations. It's such a cool place to be. But I've also seen that journey in my clientele grow to be people who are entrepreneurs themselves and who are wanting to be more visible for their work or really discover the next level of their soul purpose, etc., etc. So this year for me has been really embodying that business owner energy and getting comfortable with this, leaning into my expert positioning, leaning into the fact that I am an authority in the space, and leaning into my CEO energy and the fact that my business is a separate entity for me. It is not me. Emily the Mystic is a business in and of itself, and I get to be the CEO of that business, but I can also separate myself from that as well. And so all of this for me has really paid off. I had an incredible 6-figure sales year that I'm really proud of. And I share that with you to show you that it's possible for you too. If you are a new entrepreneur, if you're thinking about entrepreneurship, it is absolutely a possibility for you to create that for yourself and to do it in a way that is sustainable with results that you can hold on to, and in a way that feels good to your body, that isn't, again, an overnight success that you're going to be terrified that you're going to lose all of it in 0.2 seconds. That is a business that you're completely embodied in, that you feel an authentic leader of, and that feels like is a representation of who you are and your gifts and abilities. So those are some of my general takeaways from the year. But let's break it down a little bit more and to see how all of the sort of themes were kind of playing out for me this year. So, first of all, I want to talk about numerology because I'm really passionate about numerology. I actually recently found a numerology book in my childhood bedroom where there was a paper in the book where I was calculating my numerology number of the year, when I was in 8th grade in 2008, you guys, all the way back in 2008, which I thought was hilarious. So, I've been doing this for a lot longer than I think. And so, the numerology number of the year gives an energetic frequency to what you're going to be experiencing. It gives a vibration to what the energy is of the year that you are going into. So, to calculate the numerology number for your year, you're going to add up the number representing your birth month, your birth date, plus the year that we are either currently in or moving into. So, for me, and then you add all of those single digits up into one number. So for me, my birthday is February 19th. So I add up 2 plus 1 plus 9 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2 for 2022. And then if you add up those digits, you eventually get the number 9. So, and by the way, the numerology cycles go from 1 through 9. So I was in a number 9 year for 2022. So this is the last number in the numerology cycle. And by the way, if the way that I explained how to do this was confusing to you, you can absolutely Google it. There are a ton of free resources out there on how to do this. So my numerology number of the year has been the number 9, and number 9 is all about endings, death, change, letting things go, releasing things. And so for me, I have really had to do a lot of work around releasing the old version of Emily. Who is the version of Emily from years 1 through 8 was the Emily who was working in a corporate job, whose identity was really determined by what society was telling her she should be, how she should create her success, what it meant to be, what it means to be a successful woman, truly. And so I've had to, this year, it's been all about releasing all of that, letting all of that go, and letting go of the fear of being an entrepreneur for a living, and letting go of the fear of doing spiritual work for a living. I have had to do a ton of work around healing my witch wound, meaning that a ton of past life work and past life healing to let go of the fear, literally the fear of doing this work and getting harmed, hurt, killed, or persecuted for doing it, because I have had many, many lifetimes where I have been killed for doing this work before, or I have been in complete isolation. You would not believe the amount of lifetimes I've had where I've been a witch doing a practice on my own without a coven of some kind, completely alone. So for me, I associate spirituality, spiritual business, and success with being alone and being killed. So therefore, I have had to do a lot of work around that this year to let that go. So with my number 9 year, it's been really letting go of those old belief systems, letting go of the fear of doing this, being in the energy, being the business owners that I know I can be, and letting go of the imposter syndrome. I feel like imposter syndrome is something that as entrepreneurs, we're going to be always dealing with as we reach new levels. However, for me, just like really being again in that consistent CEO energy, I needed to let go of all of that fear and all of that imposter syndrome from the last couple of years so that I can really be embodied in doing this work. So this year has been a lot of healing work for me. I cannot tell you the amount of times where I have been extremely stressed or anxious about making money in this business and again, making it a full-time thing. This is my full-time thing. By the way, I don't have any side jobs or side gigs. So literally all of my income comes from this business. It's pretty incredible. Anyway, so the year 9 in numerology for me has been all about letting go of that old version of self, because as I move into my 1 year, which starts next year in 2023, I'm moving into a new phase of self, a new phase of life, a new phase of way of doing things. And so that old version of Emily, the corporate Emily, the college Emily, the high school Emily, the Emily from her original family unit, she needs to honestly die in a way in order for me to be reborn into the work that I am meant here to do. And that may be very triggering for some of you who are listening to this, who are like, I'm not ready to let go of my family unit or, the old version of me or my old friend groups. And you don't have, some people are going to grow with you. Some things are going to come with you. But it's that identity shift at the end of the day that you really need to make in order to feel really confident and embodied in that new version of you that you are becoming. The 9 year is not for the faint of heart. It's a challenging one for sure. However, on the other side of it is rebirth and new energy and fresh experiences and the beginning of a new cycle. So, having to die this year and let go of a lot of the old to create space for the new in 2023 was so worth it for me to be able to have the success that I've been able to have and to be able to continue that and lead with that as we move into the new year. Another interesting thing about my year this year were the words that I chose. So at the end of 2021, I knew that I wanted to choose the word expansion for this year. And then I had a call with a mentor, and this mentor was like, no, expansion's not quite the right word. It feels like it should be more like amplify, like really heat up the energy of your business. And I was like, okay. So I kind of went into this year with 2 words, expansion, amplify. I wasn't ready to let go of the expansion word, but I really liked what my mentor was saying about amplifying the work that I was doing to help it to grow and to change and to shift into something new and even better. So I went with those 2 words. And what really ended up happening was the expansion word ended up being my personal word for the year. And then amplify ended up being my business word for the year. So for me personally in my own life, this word was super expansive. I completely expanded my consciousness in so many ways beyond anything I ever could have thought. Every year I do this work, I think to myself, there's no way that I could learn more. I know so much about so many things. I know what's going on in the world. I get it. How can I learn more? And there's always more. There's always more to learn. And this year completely blew my consciousness wide open again. After already doing that in 2021, when I was at the beginning of my Akashic Records journey, that blew my consciousness wide open. This year, wow. I'm going to share a little bit more about that when I get into my themes for the year. However, that word expansion really carried with me through this year. I did a lot of travel. I saw new places. I found a place that I really, really love that I eventually want to move to with my partner, which is Florida, by the way. I love the beach. I know I want to live at the beach at some point. So that really expanded my consciousness. I expanded my capacity to hold more wealth, to hold more money, to hold more clients. So really working on my capacity to hold more space for more people. And I'm going to continue to do that because I know my work is here to benefit a lot of people. It's here to benefit the masses. So I'm going to have to continue to grow and increase my capacity to hold more as we continue. I've really expanded my vision for myself and what I know to be possible. For me, I've expanded my income, my impact that I've made on other people. I've really expanded my client base. I've called forth a lot of new clients this year. Again, that shift from the spiritual awakening beginner to working with more established entrepreneurs, etc. I've expanded my self-awareness, my awareness of who I am and my authenticity. And I've expanded myself through doing a lot of healing work, which has really been the undercurrent behind how I've been able to accomplish so much. And then how my business was amplified. So how did that word amplify really become the theme for my business this year? So that word really helped me to shine a light on my business itself, on its growth, YouTube growth, Instagram growth, income growth, the shifting and changing of offerings, changing my prices a lot. I really had to create premium offerings this year in order to call forth the success that I was desiring and also to be an equivalent energy exchange for what I pour into my sessions with my clients as well. So really amplifying all of that, I feel like that really has come to pass in a beautiful way. So those 2 words really became kind of the themes for myself and for my business. I'm currently working on my words of the year for 2023. I have a dear friend of mine recently said on her podcast that Your words of the year, your words of the year choose you. You don't choose them. And I definitely feel like those two words chose me last year for sure. I have had one personal word choose me so far. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, so I'll keep you guys updated. I'm definitely going to do a video on predictions for 2023 and kind of what I feel like that's going to look like. So stay tuned for that. I will let you know what the words are for the year. But let's talk about some of the overall themes for me this year. What did I learn? What really shifted for me? Where did I grow? So, one of the biggest themes for me this year was trusting and surrendering. Every single month, I was pushed into a new level of trust and surrender, literally like jumping off the cliff and allowing the universe to catch me over and over and over again. And I always was caught every single time, no matter how much anxiety and fear I had about, am I going to be able to create the money that I need this month? It always came in. It always did. Oh, every single time. So I've really had to lean into that and also do the work around deservingness and worthiness of the income that I needed in my business and in my life in general, and just leaning into that. I also really had to lean into trust in myself, trusting that I can do this, that I know what I'm talking about, trust in my gifts and in my abilities to use my gifts to help others. I have had so many tests come up this year that have caused me to doubt my gifts, but at the end of the day, all of those tests have proven to me that I am really intuitively gifted. I am an incredible channeler. I really help people in a very deep and very profound way. So leaning into that has been really monumental for me as well. And also just surrendering to the process, letting go of the control a little bit. I hate to admit it, but I can be a little bit of a controlling person. I have a really hard time accepting support, which I'm going to get to as another one of my learnings this year. But really just leaning into the process and going with it, going with the flow, being okay with being in the void, being okay with being in the in-between, knowing that I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, and that's okay. And surrendering to allowing other people to help me, allowing the universe to help me, allowing the right clients to come in, and just letting it flow. Flow, flow, flow. Huge theme for me this year. I know on the other side of that, a big goal for me in 2023 is to implement more systems and more structure, because my business is totally built on flow. This year I didn't plan anything. I would plan maybe a couple weeks out, a month out, but I literally didn't plan anything. Which is maybe shocking to you, but that I am a Pisces through and through. I have a lot of planets in Pisces, so I am deeply in my feminine energy and in that flow energy. So I know that having some masculine support and structure in 2023 will help me to cultivate more surrender and more freedom. So it's definitely something that I know that I need to create for myself, but we'll get there, of course. Always. It's always a process. The next really big theme for me was all about returning home to me, returning to my true self. I have done so much personal growth work this year, healing work, inner child work, shadow work, you name it. I've done it all, past life work, etc., to really strip back the layers of who I thought I was and all of these energies telling me who I thought I should be to be successful, to be seen, to be worthy of love and abundance and everything, and to really remember who I am at my core, and to allow that person to be the one who's in the driver's seat of the journey, and to let go of other people's projections and, again, fears around the work that I'm doing. A lot of people aren't going to understand. I don't give a flying crap that they don't. I really don't. So leaning into returning home to me and my comfort with myself, and remembering who I am has been really an important part of this journey as well. The next really big learning for me is around setting boundaries. This year was boundary test after boundary test after boundary test. And in order to implement boundaries, I had to figure out what my needs were and how to assert those and how to share, how to communicate my needs to other people. So I had to do a lot of work to set boundaries, both in my business and in my personal life as well, specifically with family. And it's not been easy, and it's been really uncomfortable. I come from a very enmeshed family dynamic, a family system where that was driven on codependency. And so having to extract myself from that has been uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. But it's also been really important for me to assert myself because I also have needs. I am not here to take care of everybody else in my family. I am here to be me, and I am here to do my own thing. So having to set those time boundaries with people, energy boundaries, and also with my business too. Not letting my clients run the show. In 2021, I would have people emailing me, "Can you do an emergency reading for me tomorrow?" No, I don't do emergency readings. So I had to learn how to say no to things like that, and also how to say no to people asking me to schedule things during crazy hours of the day, depending on their time zone or depending on their schedule. No, my schedule. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. There are, plenty of people that I can benefit with my work. By the way, I apologize if this is triggering to any of you. This is who I am after, again, doing a lot of personal work. And perhaps it's reflecting back to you exactly some of the areas that you may need to focus on for yourself as well. So, next big theme for me is taking care of myself and prioritizing myself. Again, I ended last year really burnt out. I wasn't taking care of my body, my health. I wasn't exercising at all. And I love exercise. I have a personal training certification, and I was not exercising to do client appointments at crazy hours of the day. So I really learned a lesson around that, especially starting off this year sick and not feeling well. Knowing that I need to build a schedule for myself around my personal care routines, my time to exercise, my time to cook and to eat, making sure that I'm getting all of my appointments in, again, to take care of me and myself, getting my nails done, little things like that. And even having frequent work done with mentors, energy work, and so on and so forth. I see a homeopath. I see all sorts of people who help me to keep my vessel strong and healthy so that I can really do this work, because this work can be very, very taxing on the physical body. So if you're not taking care of yourself, it's just not good. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself if you are a business owner like me. Next big lesson from me was all about calling in divine support, knowing that I don't have to go it alone. The past life witch version of me may have gone it alone, but this version of Emily, she needs support. So I hired an incredible virtual assistant. Shout out to Nikki, who's been amazing this year and has helped me in so many ways. My boyfriend, my partner in life, who has really helped me in so many ways as well. My friendships, divine collaborations, partnership, just really calling in new people. I've called in a lot of new people this year, which has been instrumental for my growth. As you know, as you evolve and your vibration shifts, you need people in that vibration to support you and to surround you. So being intentional about it and asking the guides to help bring those new people into your life is huge. And I know I'm not done yet. I know that I'm going to be moving into a year, which we'll get to, around calling in new support, new people, new friendships, new team members into my business to help me grow. So I'm excited about that, but I had to learn how to accept support. I was calling in 2021, I was calling in business investments that didn't do anything for me. They didn't help me at all. They didn't support me at all. And that's because I wasn't open or willing to receive support. So therefore, I was calling in support that couldn't help me because that supported the belief system that I had. So now that I have a new belief system, I have called in amazing people who will really help me as we move into the new year. And this year has been all about fun in a lot of ways too, and making sure that I'm doing things that bring me joy and that really light me up, that light a fire within me. I love to have fun. As you all know, my tagline is that I help old souls have more fun. So I really am passionate about making sure that I am living that authentically as well. And that I'm doing fun things on the weekends or after my client sessions are over with, and really leaning into that because it's a part of me and who I am. And we're here on earth to enjoy ourselves. We are here to learn, but we can still enjoy ourselves along the way. And then finally, a really incredibly cool thing that I learned about myself this year, which I am really excited to share with you, that's going to be a big part of my work in 2023. This is a bit of a preview, a bit of an announcement. I have done a lot of work into leaning into the middle path. So, what is the middle path? It is not a political thing. We're not talking about middle of the road politics. We're talking about middle of the road spirituality, meaning that we have two ends of the spectrum in spirituality. We have divine light and we have divine darkness. And yes, we also have wounded light, false light, and we have wounded darkness and shadow darkness. And for me, this year has all been about learning how to walk the middle path, to learn about both ends of me and who I am, and to do the deep healing soul work around my divine light, my divine darkness, and healing the shadow stuff, healing the wounded darkness, healing the shadow light, healing the false light. There have been aspects of that, and I'm still doing more work around that. So I've been doing a lot of work this year to lean into my dark, divine feminine, that darker, uninhibited energy. And often we think of the dark feminine as being this wild woman in the woods who's not wearing shoes and she's just like naked and crazy. But no, she could be that. But for me, that's not who my dark divine feminine is. Hint, hint, which we'll be getting to more content around this in 2023. But really embodying that incredibly expansive divine dark feminine energy has been so freaking powerful for me. I've been working with a lot of dark divine feminine goddesses, which we're going to do a ton of content around that, so don't worry. But learning how to walk the middle path. There is a lot of false light in the spiritual community that preaches toxic positivity and toxic love and light all of the time. However, we are in equal balance of both. And I vow to incorporate both aspects of that work within my business, within my life, because it is me. It is truly me. It represents who I am. And I hope that you decide to go on that journey with me. So more on that to come. So in finality, moving forward, I'm really excited about 2023. I know that I am playing a bigger game now of entrepreneurship. I know that I'm really stepping into higher levels of success, higher levels of growth, higher levels of expansion. And I know that I really need to continue to build this business because it's here to support a lot of people. So my intentions for myself in 2023 are to call in more people to support me with this, to make this as fun as I possibly can, and to continue to be as authentic as I possibly can with every single one of you, really leaning into all the lessons that I learned this year. Next year is going to be a big one for me. We've talked about the numerology year number 1, so I'm moving into that new cycle, that fresh new energy. And I am also moving into my Saturn return in 2023. If you don't know what the Saturn return is, it's when the planet Saturn returns to the place, the house, when you were born. That exact moment when you were born, wherever Saturn is in your birth chart, it returns back to that exact point, which happens twice in your lifetime, around the ages of 27 to 30, and around the ages of, I believe, 50 to 55. So I'm going through my first Saturn return, you guys. I'm turning 29 in 2023. My Saturn return starts in March. It's going to be a wild ride. And my Saturn return is happening in my 11th house of friendships, collaborations, connections. So I'm excited to see new people coming into my world. I'm excited to see new clients. I'm excited to make a bigger impact and just to see kind of how that all unfolds. So you're going to be along for the ride with me. I will keep you all updated on how that goes, but it's going to be really, really fun. And I'm excited to see kind of how all of those puzzle pieces fit together. And finally, get ready for, in the new year, lots of new content coming to this channel. I'm going to kickstart the year with this Cosmic Connection series where we talk to some of the galactic beings who have been known by the spiritual community to be malevolent beings, whether you want to call them service to self beings, malevolent beings, however you want to see it. we need a full, well-rounded perspective here at Emily the Mystic. So we're going to be bringing forward those beings in the new year. I'm also going to be doing a whole new special YouTube series where we're going to be talking about the middle path in detail. Like, what does that mean? What does it mean to walk the middle path? What does it look like to work with your divine darkness and your divine light? And really incorporating and anchoring and integrating all of those things to make you a whole, well-rounded, beautiful, authentic self and soul. So thank you again for being here on the journey with me, for listening to this video and my reflections. I hope that they served you in some capacity. I hope that you learned a lot from this video. I am just grateful to be able to have such beautiful people in my community. And I see you wherever you are in the world. Even if we've never met, I see you. I thank you. I'm grateful for you. And let's do this. Let's keep going. Let's keep the train going into 2023. It's going to be a lot of fun. Right. So make sure you like this video. Comment below what resonated with you from this video. What were some of your takeaways? Maybe you saw some parallels in your life with mine. Maybe you had some major life lesson takeaways that are different and you want to share those. Like, please pop them below. I love reading all of your comments. And also subscribe to my channel. Whether this is the first video you've watched or you've watched a bunch, make sure you subscribe so that you can know exactly when I post new content. All right, sending you so much love. Enjoy the rest of your day, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in the new year. Sending love.